actually like to be a long time.
Everyone's being filmed. Nice little wave.
Sweat is dripping down my face. My body hurts everywhere. My coach is yelling at me, and we just lost our biggest game. To many people, this would sound miserable, but this was my life when we lost a big game. I have played sports my entire life, and I've loved every minute of it. We've lost a lot of games, but we've won a lot too. Sports have truly made me the person I am today, and in this speech, I will tell you how they made me the person I am today and how I hope to pass on what I have learned in the future. I started playing sports when I was in 2nd grade, and I started with basketball. I played basketball up until my sophomore year of high school, but I realized it wasn't quite for me because there was a little too much running and a little too much touching other people. I decided that I liked volleyball better, and that's the sport where I really learned the skills that got me going through life. Of course, I learned skills in basketball and track, but I learned more in volleyball. Volleyball taught me how to be responsible, dedicated, and a leader. I first had to learn how to be responsible if I was going to play, because my coach was very strict. We had to have matching uniforms, we had to have matching tops, shorts, socks, knee pads, and shoes. And if one person didn't look in uniform, we all had to run. I never wanted to be the person who made everyone run, so I was very obsessed with making sure I had everything situated. I also had to learn how to be on time, because being on time meant being 10 minutes early, not being on time. Someone was on time, the actual time they're supposed to be there, we all had to run again. So never wanting to run, I've always learned to be on time, and to this day, I hate being late for anything. Secondly, I had to learn how to be very dedicated. In high school, we had practice 5 days a week, and it was always over 2 hours long. It was very hard, we always were moving, there was never any downtime. So if I wanted to play, I had to be dedicated to make it through my long practices and hard games. But in the end, winning a game was worth all of the hard work. Another example of being dedicated was our summer camp. It was 1 week, 4 hours a day, and I have never been so sore in my entire life. I dreaded that week every year. I couldn't even walk up the stairs, I would be so sore. We would go to practice, and before practice, all of us would sit outside trying to put icy hot on our legs, anything to make the pain go away, but we just had to tough it up and go another 4 hours that day. And finally, I learned how to be a leader. Before being a leader, I had to make sure I could be responsible and dedicated. Being a leader was truly something that you have to learn by just becoming a leader, and you have to be able to lead by example. Leading by example is not just telling people what to do, but you actually have to be more responsible, you have to be dedicated, and you have to do everything. I learned that I couldn't just tell people to go lift weights. I actually had to go do and lift the weights myself, or else I didn't feel comfortable saying it. So in conclusion, I decided not to play sports in college just because I wasn't quite good enough. But I decided I wanted to keep sports in my life, so I decided to major in exercise science because that way I can help learn how to make people better in sports and pass on the traits I have learned through sports. Thank you. Oh, and this is my visual aid.